This is Lil Wayne and Nicki Minaj. I don't really know who they are. I know the names. Yeah, the song's called Dark Side of the Moon. As I wipe the stars off the window on my spaceship, call out the spirits in my basement, crawl out the centre of the snake pit. Fireballs reflect off the frames of the pictures. That's just terrible. She's not impressed with the flames or the flickers. I don't know what we're going to do. Oh yeah, so that cooking.
It's got us thinking, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, what? I mean, that is like a perfect recipe for biscuits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Biscuits. I think you're right.
It makes you wonder, you know, what is the recipe for the perfect album?
Yeah.
You know, what ingredients actually go in there?
Yeah, let's give it a try. Let's go and cook.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Today we are doing cooking, aren't we, Sam?
Yeah, this is our Christmas special cooking edition that we do.
Merry Christmas.
What are we doing this year?
We're cooking biscotti. Was it biscotti?
Biscotti. Yeah.
Biscotti, that's good.
Twice baked biscuits, traditional Italian biscuit, quite often served with amaretto, but and quite good in a coffee as well because they're very absorbent.
Yeah, you've got to have a coffee.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And follow along if you want.
Christmas.
Yeah. So the first thing we need to do, Kev, is weigh out some ingredients. You going to be able to do that?
Yes.
Actually, I just thought...
Don't we need a bowl?
That's a bit...
I feel I'd let myself down. Sam, I'd let you down, and I'd let the viewers at home down.
Why?
It was a cooking adventure, misadventure.
Messing about.
I've been mad for fucking years. Absolutely years. Been over the edge for yonks. Been working me buns off for bands. Well, I've always been mad. I know I've been mad. Like the most of us, it's hard to explain why you're mad, even if you're not mad. Thing is, really, it's just a man talking crap.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't really lyrics, is it? This is sort of a random piece of speech they call it, which is quite fitting, really. Just sounds kind of cool. So yeah, I think what's precipitated this, Kev, this little thing, isn't it? It's like we're 40 now, and having imbibed Dark Side of the Moon many years ago, you know, it's almost a part of our being now. I mean, when you listen to it now, you're not actually listening to it. You're just sort of keeping it alive inside you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know, you listen to the lyrics of Dark Side of the Moon the way a fish looks at water, you know. It's not even there anymore. But maybe, now that we're 40, very middle-aged.
Yeah.
You know.
When Roger Waters was 30.
Yeah.
I don't think he was. Wasn't he 29?
I don't know. I think
maybe he was 29.
I mean,
so life's better start then, hasn't it? Oh no, it's already started. No, we're 40. It's finished. I mean, obviously there's the big bit. Let's not talk about the big bit first. Let's just talk about that first verse. Breathe in the air, don't be afraid to care. Leave but not leave me. Look around and choose your own ground. So I assume that's a young person, isn't it? That's the idea. What you're told. You'll be fine. Live life. Go on, off you go. You'll be fine.
it kind of reminds me of breathe in the air. That sort of like, I don't know if this is what it's supposed to be, but it's like a moment of birth, you know, where the baby, you know, first thing it does is it either breathes or it gets a slap on the bum
to
make it breathe. Yeah. So it's a sort of like, you know, this is what it's going to be, kid.
Yeah.
You breathe, or you're going to get a slap to make you breathe.
Don't be afraid to care.
Leave but don't leave me. Is this sort of like a hang-up of Roger Waters with his mom?
It must be. That's it. That might be his first mom reference.
Yeah. It's weird because like this is the Dark Side is different to the Wall in the sense that the Wall is like incredibly personal to Roger Waters.
Yes.
Whereas this is much more universal, isn't it?
It is the polar opposite. In that, you know, age 29 or whatever it was. he had this ability to be completely universal without watering it down.
Yeah.
The Sellout album was moved people more than any other.
Yeah.
And obviously the polar opposite of that is something completely narcissistic and this is happening to me, I'm a poor millionaire. But at the same time he was right, because by then that's what, you write about what you know.
Yeah.
That's why it works. Yeah.
And your point that, they're 29, 30, whatever here, I mean, it's incredibly perceptive, isn't it?
That's the thing, yeah. He says that himself, doesn't he? That he's only young.
There's something wrong. Yeah. Look around, choose your own ground. That's sort of like, again, that's the youthful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or the way I look at it is like the useful thing. There are all options open to you. The world is open to you.
Yeah, the illusion of freedom.
Yeah. Choose what you're going to do. For long you live and high you fly. I mean, that's very optimistic, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Smiles you'll give and tears you'll cry. Life is going to be full of stuff.
And it goes on to the rabbit.
Dig that hole, forget the sun. And when the work is done, don't sit down. It's time to dig another one.
I mean, there we go. I mean, bang.
Yeah,
we're into life now. It's the Sisyphean pushing the rock up the hill.
Yeah.
That thing that keeps coming back. It's life. The futility of
the grind.
The grind, yeah, and it is a grind. And not only that, it's ridiculous because you'll grind and you'll grind and you'll grind, but it's all for nothing.
It's ultimately for other people, isn't it? I don't mean people I mean it is set up for the benefit of other people. Most of your work is going to be like that. It's going to, you're one of 1,000 people who are going to make somebody a millionaire.
Yeah, but I'm not like, I do, I mean, that's the sort of one side of it. Another side of it is that no matter how many times you push that rock to the top of the hill, given enough time, it's completely meaningless. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it now, like there's, I don't know how many, is it like 6-7 billion of us on the planet at the moment?
Yeah.
In 100 years' time, how many of those 6-7 billion will actually be remembered?
Nothing.
And we're making it worse, actually.
Worthless.
With the way we capture endless streams of data, actually makes it even harder for someone to sort of...
Yeah, more information than...
Yeah.
Well, more data than anything in history.
Too much stuff to handle,
Yeah.
It's the idea that any one of us will be remembered, or our work will be remembered in 100 years' time, let alone 1,000 years' time.
Yeah.
Is for the birds, really.
Yeah.
So you're digging that other one, you're digging that hole, you're going to dig another one, you're going to dig it, but why? It's a complete waste of time. It's very...
It's only enough to keep you digging.
Yeah.
It doesn't incrementally make things better. The idea. I think the idea that work is, the volume of work is completely proportional to payoff is not true at all. So what you're doing is you're working so you can carry on working.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it?
That's the future of
life,
of this child, of any child
that
comes into the world. All right, mate, here you are. Get breathing, because you're going to have to dig your hole, and you have to dig it and dig it and dig it, and then you're going to die.
Yeah. And balanced on the biggest wave, you race towards an early grave. That's it.
I mean, it's quite an absurd concept, isn't it, really? I mean, Camus would be impressed with this. It's sort of like the absurdity of... It encapsulates the absurdity of life, really.
Yeah. And that's like Roger Waters... Hello, I'm Roger Waters. This is what I think. Oh, God. There's only a few lines. It's like, oh, my God. And he's right.
I've only got a massive bowl.
Not doing it.
Yeah.
Can you pour from this bowl? Does it pour well?
It'll be alright. It's got to go in there. So
you would need a good pouring bowl.
We need 250 grams of plain flour.
Mm-hmm.
That's 0 there. And I'll whisk up 3 eggs.
Yeah, cool.
And then we need 250 grams of caster sugar. That's the caster sugar. I hope we've got enough, otherwise I'm in a shop.
Don't we need to sieve the flour?
Nah.
Oh.
Do you know, the reason that they used to sieve flour would be to get the lice out of it or something like that. And
really?
there is absolutely no reason to sieve flour anymore.
It looks lovely though when you see it.
It does, doesn't it? It makes it look really fluffy.
I bet that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so I've whisked 3 eggs there. We might not need all of those.
Right, so another 250 of sugar.
Yeah. Maybe not enough.
Or whatever we've got, we're going to have to use. No, it's very about right. Oh yeah, actually on the run there is a... It's weird, it's not in my head, but live for today, gone tomorrow, that's me.
And I mean, on the run is a sort of, I think that's sort of a track that, obviously there's not a lot going on there, it's just a lot of funny sounds and stuff like that, but I mean, it sort of elevates it above a normal music album, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a combination of everything.
Yeah, it's sort of really tying down those the vibes coming off it.
Yeah, and if it was just Roger Waters with an acoustic guitar, it would be not only would it be the most grim experience of all time, it certainly wouldn't have sold that much.
No, that'll do. Whack it in. Alright. Can you give that a good mix, please, Kev?
I shall. So straight into here?
No, with a spoon before.
Oh.
Yeah, just give it a bit of a, make sure it's well incorporated. And then we need our nuts roughly chopping.
Oh.
Should we see how many pistachios we've got?
Actually, I said Dealey got it wrong. I mean, I used the old Dealey book. I think it's the 80s one, so not the original, but
These are proper fresh, man.
and a lot of it, it's a really useful book for sort of the standard way of doing things, but you know, a lot of it is debunked. It usually involves lard.
Pistachio. What we're going to do is pistachio and hazel. So roughly chop those, and then when they're roughly chopped, we'll add some
chestnuts.
This has all been incorporated nicely by Kev now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into the mixer.
Are we on to time?
We are on to time now.
Ticking away the moments that make up a dull day. I mean, just that.
It is unbelievable, isn't it?
I think time might be his best lyric. It's up there, I think.
I think it is. I think this is the best Pink Floyd song. I mean, it's so... I mean, it can take you unaware sometimes. You actually start listening to what he's saying and you think,
wow.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. Welcome to life.
What am I doing?
Fresher and waste the hours in our family like everybody does.
Well, I was thinking about it this morning, I am surrounded by unfinished projects. Stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
So much stuff for the channel, so much stuff for myself, so much stuff for work.
Yeah.
And the amount of hours I fritter and waste.
Yeah, and you think, well, I could have done an hour for that, and an hour for that. And why not? Why can't? It's almost like we've been programmed that way that we can't do it.
You just got, you
just feel lazy.
Yeah.
And then you really try and do lots of work, and you're just completely knackered. You can't do anything. Oh God.
Kicking around on a piece of ground in your hometown,
yeah.
Wait for someone or something to show you the way. I mean, this is what John Anderson was going for in Close to the Edge.
Yeah.
This is the kind of profundity that he's trying to do with his lyrics.
He doesn't want to be direct. He thinks by being direct makes it too easy. That's the thing, isn't it? Whether that's just because he's hiding, because obviously to do it so directly gives the game away, doesn't it? Well, you've got to find something then to make it better. But Roger Waters' thing of saying, no, I need it to be really direct. The lyrics need to tell you what it means, and that's it. There's no not open to interpretation. None of that. This is what I want to say, and that can be either awful or just amazing.
It is pretty relentless, this song. It is sort of like, especially...
Tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain. You are young and life is long. Well, there's time to kill today. And then one day you find 10 years have gone behind you.
Jesus Christ.
Oh. It's hard. No one told you when to run, you missed the starting gun. Nobody told me.
Oh.
Well, that's the thing. It's like a slow car crash, isn't it? I didn't know. I didn't do anything. Never mind.
I mean, if there's one thing, you know, this is quite an old album now, what, mid-70s, yeah?
Yeah, 70s, right?
And it does stand up quite well to the modern way of living.
Yeah, it feels like it's more so.
Yeah.
I'm sure it isn't. I'm sure that's just life.
Well, it seems to, I mean, what you said there, the car crash in slow motion, it's so obvious now. You know, the car crash in slow motion.
Yeah, it becomes more obvious as you get older. Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, we'll turn 30. I'm going to start doing something then. What shall I do? Oh, I'm 40. Shit. Too late.
Shit. I definitely feel I missed the starting gun.
So you run, and you run to catch up with the sun.
But it's sinking.
Sinking, you don't catch up with the sun, are you? It's racing around to come up behind you again. Next day. Oh, the week's over, sorry. Oh, it's Christmas. Hang on, it's Christmas 2018. What? For many years, well, for quite a few years, for some reason I felt like it should be 2003. But that was the year my first daughter was born. Yeah.
Sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older, shorter of breath, and one day closer to death.
Thanks, Roger. Yeah, that's cheerful.
Yeah.
Every year is getting shorter, never seem to find the time.
Plans that either come to naught or half a page of scribbled lines.
And here we go. That's the line. Hanging on in quiet desperation.
Is the English one.
And with that, the biscotti is ready to be chopped.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite Christmas prog song, Sam?
There
aren't many.
I Believe in Father Christmas.
Yes, that's a good song. I agree. But I prefer Ring Out Solstice Bells.
I was thinking of that one. Sitting on the park bench. I was listening to that this morning.
Yeah.
Well, I should have obviously been listening to other things. Feels very, I don't know why I always end up listening to Jethro Tull at Christmas.
I think the Ring Out Solstice Bells thing was because there was already a Christmasness to the instrumentation, etc. of the Tull. So Christmas memories. There you go. Christmas memories, Sam. Tell me a Christmas memory. It doesn't have to be funny or anything. Just stuff that happens at Christmas.
This is a massive grater here. There was that one year then when we got all our presents robbed. That was quite sad.
Is that true?
No.
That's a shame. We could have...
It's a shame. We could have used that. There was one year. Okay. So one year. I don't know if you remember this, but there used to be quite a big company in Redditch called Alcat that made batteries. It was like big batteries for backup generators and stuff like that.
Right.
So they sold batteries to like Sydney Opera House and stuff like that. So if there was a power cut, they had a store of power for emergency lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they sold it worldwide. I mean, this is such a typically 80s store.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a massive employer in the town, and my dad worked there, and they got bought out by, there was 3 companies basically that on the back of it. But that Christmas, you know, he got his redundancy around about Christmas time.
Oh God.
And my brother got an Amiga 500 and I got an Amiga 1200 with Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis on.
That's not fair, is it? How come you get the better one?
Well, that's what Tom wanted.
Oh, okay.
It's because my older brothers, they had an A500.
Right.
I don't think they had the Plus. I think it was the...
Oh, without the modulator?
Yeah. I think it was the normal one. I knew the 1200, you know, was going to be quite a special machine.
Yeah, you're right. And that was the best Amiga. Yeah.
16,777,216 colours and all that.
Oh my God, sir. Yeah, 256 colours on screen. In like 1992, it had really good graphics.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was faster as well. 14 megahertz. 14.7 megahertz.
I remember we used to go on about blitter chips in the playground for some reason.
Did you know? Right. Okay. We should. There's a big joke about the Atari ST doesn't have a blitter chip, so it's not as good as the Amiga, and that was that. We used to take a piss at that. It did.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. The STE had a blitter chip, which was released in 1989, which was like, but obviously the Amiga and ST came out in '85, but nobody had one. No one got them till 1990, really. So yeah, it did. Unless you had an STFM.
Stuff fun.
Yeah.
What was the deal with multitasking? Because we used to go on about multitasking as well. Was like Workbench.
Oh well, Workbench was really good at preemptive multitasking. Yeah, I don't think. TOS. It's called TOS. The green one. I don't think it was preemptive, but that was a lot earlier. For the price and everything, when that came out, and that was originally being worked on for Sinclair. So the Super Spectrum, whatever it was going to be, that was going to be its GUI.
Oh right.
So is hanging on in quiet desperation the English way, or is the quiet the important word there? That everyone's hanging on in desperation.
The polite sort of quietness of not saying what. It's a sussy thing to show your feelings and etc. I don't know that's quite what it means. Maybe it is. I don't know the English way. I think maybe that is the English way bit is a little bit tongue in cheek. But he must have come up with the phrase "hanging on in quiet desperation" and thought,
What do I do here?
Yeah, but I mean, nobody goes, "Oh my God!" We're quietly having a nervous breakdown on,
inside. Yeah. Stiff upper lip and all that.
Well, yeah, I don't think it really means stiff upper lip. That last bit is tongue in cheek.
Mm-hmm. The time is gone. The song is over. Thought I had something more to say. I mean, that feels a bit forced, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yeah, in the context of all this awesome, that's the end of the song.
Yeah. Sorry. But I mean, if you think about it, when you try and empathise, you try and visualise your own deathbed, what comes to your mind? Yeah, it's sort of I haven't said what I need to say. What happens if I get there and I haven't
done the thing,
expressed myself?
Yeah, and when you don't know what it is, that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
And when we did it, didn't we? Did the bucket? We tried to do a bucket list a few weeks ago, didn't we?
Did we?
I think we did. Maybe it was longer than that. Maybe it was a few months ago.
It's probably yesterday. I can't remember it.
But yeah, I just didn't know. I don't know. I have no idea. That's terrible.
Haven't you ever wanted to jump out of a plane and do a skydive?
Well, yeah. Actually, I'd love to do a skydive, but not the landing. I know that's obvious. But I think I would love the skydive, but I'm not doing that.
Why not?
I don't want to do the landing.
No. What if someone else did the landing?
Yeah, but you have to run with them or something and all that. I don't want to do it.
As I understand it, they slow it right down and then they just drop you on the floor, sort of thing.
Yeah, but I still don't want to do it. So the landing is the thing. And bungee jumping, I think I would really like a bungee jump, but I wouldn't be able to jump.
No, I wouldn't like a bungee jump. I think they're boring, it's a sort of... Oh, will my eyes stay in my sockets? Let's find out.
Well, it's probably. I'm sure it's much like a roller coaster. It's something you do when you're younger, then you suddenly realise why. Because I'm not. Yeah, I was a big roller coaster person, and it was like 1 year. It was like suddenly. What do I do that for? And then you come in, I've got a headache, and you're completely knackered, and What for?
Yeah, it's weird. Last time I went to Alton Towers, I went on to do it, and it scared me. I didn't want to, I didn't want to do it. But up until that, there was nothing. There was nothing that I wouldn't, I wouldn't go on and enjoy. And for some reason now, I'm like, nah, can't bother.
I mean, maybe the fear goes away for me. So I had the fear and the queuing, you're like, well, and then Oblivion is the perfect one at Alton Towers because you go up the thing and you're like, what? Hang on a minute, what was I doing this for?
Yeah.
But I think and after a bit, you're just being thrown around. The problem is going to it and going loads of times because it's quiet enough.
Yeah.
That's a mistake because the fear goes and then you realise you're just being thrown around. Why would you want to do that? And that's a bit like life, really. we should. Well, obviously we're talking about the lyrics, but obviously Time also features one of the best guitar solos of all time. Dave Gilmour's best guitar solo, probably better than anything on Echoes or Shine On, and certainly better than Comfortably Numb.
Controversial. People like that kind of guitar solo.
Actually, I mean, Christmas Day used to be a pretty good day. We'd have. My mum used to make a cooked breakfast. This was when we were quite young.
Yeah.
And my older brothers round. We'd have a cooked breakfast in the morning, and then obviously we'd have a big lunch.
Yeah.
For dinner. It was a really, really nice lunch. And we would be up early. It would be 6 o'clock, sort of.
So what sort of age are you talking about?
Yeah, that's a good question, that is. It must have been very, it would be before, I reckon it was probably 12, 11, 12 sort of age.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when it's still really awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, I was probably 7 or 8. That's probably the peak. Although when you're a little bit more excited, but that's the peak of the sort of, you'll be a bit crazy about it and you'll be able to sleep and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there was one Christmas I remember I didn't sleep all night.
Yeah. I remember waking up at 3:30 and being told that we have to wait till 6 o'clock. It's not Christmas Day until 6 o'clock, you have to wait.
Now I always saw it's down as the reprise of Breathe here.
Yes.
I always saw it as
the end of time.
Yeah, the end of time.
Yeah, yeah. And it fits on the, yeah, I mean, again, he just nailed it, didn't he? It's just amazing, you know. Home again. I like to be here when I can. When I come home cold and tired, it's good to warm my bones beside the fire.
I mean, that is a point of light on this album, isn't it?
It is.
Just that imagery there is sort of like, oh.
But you were just saying to me, well, we've just got the biscotti out the oven, you were saying about, well, you've got to walk the dog 3 times a day. So round you go, round, and you can't. You don't get to go and warm your bones beside the fire, because you've got to get up again.
Yeah, it's constant churn. And actually, if you're at home all the time, there is an isolation issue.
Yes, isolation.
But I don't think that's what this is about. It's
no.
It's an image. But then.
Oh yeah, but there's the. This is leading us into the next song, isn't it? Obviously.
Far away across the field, the tolling of the iron bars.
Calls the faithful to their knees to hear the softly spoken magic spells.
So he's set up that nice little, or they've set up that nice little image of.
Yeah, and then we can go and do the other nice thing. It's lovely.
And then basically you are sat there, passing time until you are called to
citizen
to go and die at your funeral. I remember having the Santa discussion at school, in first school.
Oh really?
People were saying, well,
how did you do that?
Someone got up on Christmas and there was snowy footprints
in
the house, sort of thing.
So as it's Christmas, we've got a good source of discussion. I do remember my dad being made redundant. I don't think it was at Christmas, but I do remember him being made redundant, and I think it affected me quite badly. Actually, I think I found it quite dramatic. And actually, I've only recently found out the details about it, and it wasn't traumatic at all. It was alright, it was fine. He had like 3 different job offers to choose from.
Well, that was the difference with it. I mean, my dad is sort of like, he'd been there 18 years and he'd worked himself up from the shop floor up until he couldn't get any higher. Basically, there was one general manager for the factory, and the directors above that, and he was the level below the general manager, and the factory was split into 2 halves, and he was in charge of one half, and there was another guy in charge of another.
Yeah.
So I remember the 80s in particular was a time of redundancies, because I remember Dad coming home with reams of paper going through the workforce, because there would be, organising redundancies on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So it was just something that was. And one year apparently he made one of his friends redundant.
Oh God.
And who was a manager, and the guy would never talk to him ever again. But that was just sort of.
That's the climate.
That was.
And who do we blame?
Who was the climate?
Who do we blame?
The EU.
Yes, it's the EU. It's a good job Margaret Thatcher said no to the EU, isn't it?
Yeah. And because of that, I mean, sort of, I think Dad's attitude was, well, the only way I can get a job like this again is if I go in at the ground floor. And you know, he waited around for management jobs, but because all his experience was in manufacturing, and manufacturing was deliberately being wound down in the country in favour of financialisation. There wasn't that much for him, so he ended up going back in at sort of like the ground level. But then the nature of manufacturing had changed. There were a lot smaller units, so in terms of how far you could go, it wasn't a great deal. So he ended up being quite. Because I think he was quite old at this point. He was in his 50s, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was sort of like it was not a good situation, but.
So yeah, I mean, obviously this was the religious sequence. I think they actually called it that at one point, and Alan Parsons actually got some astronaut speaking stuff or something like that, and they didn't want to use it, and they softened the blow of this bit. So this is the bit really where they chickened out in a sense, in that it isn't supposed to be about. Well, it's not about religion. This song, that last line is, and that's it. Oh, I'm not going to say anything else about that. It's just about death. That's it. It's just about death, being dead. Soon you'll be dead, because he's already said that.
I mean, this track, there's not a lot to say because it's just there's no lyrics.
Yeah, very much frightening.
But
any tone will do.
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, this is awesome.
It's
just amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it was accidental, wasn't
it? Yeah. It also highlights to me sort of Roger Waters. I think it's a great bit of music, but it's not a song. There's no lyrics. That suggests to me that, you know, when Roger Waters said, "Oh, Pink Floyd's finished now because I'm leaving and I'm Pink Floyd."
Yeah.
He's not Pink Floyd.
No.
Because there's something very, very powerful going on with that track.
Yeah.
And it's not down to the lyrics.
No, it's not, and it's not down to the notes.
Yeah.
Or the arrangement. It's not down to the composition almost. And there it is. The nothing. The Pink Floyd nothingness, magic.
Yeah.
Perfectness. Well, neither of us in camera shot. I should be in camera shot.
I'm just chopping chestnuts here.
Yeah, Sam's chopping his chestnuts, and I'll gaze out of the window pensively.
Yeah.
While Sam chops his chestnuts.
I mean, I can't imagine much of this is going to make it into the.
Memorable Christmases. Yeah, I remember the one where I just couldn't sleep. It was half. I think we had to get up at 6, and I think about 5 o'clock they sort of gave up in that. Okay, you'll have to go downstairs. I think really my parents told my brother to entertain me. I think that's what it was. I don't remember it that way, obviously. Until 6 o'clock, and I remember measuring how tall we were in terms of Lego bricks. And so he was obviously racking his brains trying to think, right, what can we do? We weren't allowed to turn the TV on because we weren't allowed to touch wall plugs when we were little.
Oh right, your mum was very protective, wasn't she, of you?
Yeah.
Flipping out, man. I used to electrocute myself in the loft, rewiring it.
That's the difference, isn't it? That's the thing, the Spectrum, right? Didn't have a reset button, didn't have a switch at all, so you had to literally pull the power out, so I wasn't allowed to do it. So the first couple of years of having a computer.
I mean, the interesting point of that little anecdote is that you weren't allowed to do it, it's that you actually didn't do it.
Yeah, I actually did what I was told.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite
bizarre, really.
Yeah. I remember one year where I was very young, and this must have been young, it was pre-9. Santa came. I think I might have even still been like, a bit on the fence on this, and I was convinced because my best friend, just up the road, got nearly identical presents to me. Santa knew that we were friends.
And got you the same presents?
And got us the same presents. There was like a Superman outfit, a little toolkit. I think he got a torch, which I didn't get, which I was a bit jealous of.
But yeah, it was nearly identical. And when we sort of like met up, it was unbelievable. Like wow.
Turn the record over. I haven't. I should have been paid yesterday, and I should have had some overtime. I did a ridiculous amount of work. Last summer, from March till early August, I did serious overtime, not seeing my family type ridiculousness. And the idea was we'd have a good summer, and I didn't get my overtime money, and I still haven't got my overtime money. There is a suggestion I might have my overtime money now. I haven't checked my pay slip because this has been happening every month actually, but I might get it eventually. And I'm hoping I'll get it eventually, because without it everything's just crap.
It shouldn't be about that though, should it?
Yeah, and obviously this is a really good commercial. Money you get back. I'm alright, Jack. Blah 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 blah. They've got to have a song about money on this album, haven't they? Because it drives your life. It's crass, etc.
It's not very. The thing about this song, I mean, it's obviously very memorable. A lot of people know this song who don't know Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
But whereas everything else on the album is incredibly perceptive, this doesn't seem perceptive to me. It seems very
obvious.
But is that a reflection? Are they giving themselves an out by saying, well, that's what money is really? People who are obsessed with money are very shallow. And very surface, so we can do a surface song here.
Yeah, and in true Pink Floyd fashion, of course,